Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, to say it's going to be a mixed year for Bandai Namco is really kind of stating the obvious, because well after the smash hit that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero absolutely did with the company out there. It's been a smash hit with the fans. All the Dragon Ball fans are super happy. The game's got some incredibly high peak numbers out there. It's just been absolutely insane. Well, at the exact same time, Bandai Namco has another game that just released as well. Something a little more unknown. Something that not as many people are aware of, and certainly very few people are actually playing out there. And that is Unknown 9 Awakening, a game that literally Bandai Namco bought the entire studio thinking that this thing was going to be such a great hit and such a smash, beautiful, new, fresh idea out there that they were going to expand it into an entire universe across multiple different types of media out there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, not only is IGN roasting this game as well, it has failed to launch in any kind of significant way whatsoever. There is no way denying this game is an absolute disastrous dumpster fire and a complete and total flop from Bandai Namco. They clearly bet on the wrong horse and allowed some people to make decisions that have turned out very, very badly for them. And now this is exactly what they are getting. And like I said, we've also got IGN absolutely roasting this video. So maybe we're going to go over this as well as what the current numbers are. And of course, IGN's article gives some very good examples of why this game is so messed up and such a disastrous dumpster fire. So we're going to check out all that information out, give you all the juicy details. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does this surprise you at all? After all of the Sweet Baby Inc. involvement that we'd heard about, after Unknown 9 Awakening intentionally uglifying that gorgeous voice actress that they picked for this game, does it surprise you in any way, shape, or form? So knowing that they were concentrating on diversity, equity, and inclusion, this is a broken, buggy mess of a game and no one is playing it? Or did you actually have hope for this game and were willing to give it a chance? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And also, if you'd like to help support the channel, check out the description as well. So from Bounded into comics, Unknown 9 Awakening remains unknown as the latest Sweet Baby Inc. title debuts to just 285 peak players on Steam. Now, I am not generally one to give too much credit over there to IGN, but maybe, just maybe, some people were actually out there reading their reviews and not just paying attention to their favorite YouTuber out there who already told them exactly what this game was going to be before it even launched. But Unknown 9 Awakening review from IGN.com. A few good ideas can't save this bland and janky adventure. So we're not going to go through and read the entire review. If you want to go check out their entire review, you can. They got a video over it, the whole 9, that you can go check out. But I want to check out some of the highlights. Harana's predictable tale is full of cliches and unremarkable characters, eventually getting horribly lost in a sea of magical jargon. Basically, it's confusing and it's a giant mess that's boring, and it's all stuff that we've seen done before and much better. Combat is easily one of the things Awakening does worst. Apparently the combat's broken and busted and does not work very well for anybody. And their verdict, their conclusion here. Unknown 9 Awakening is the kind of routine action-adventure game that probably wouldn't blow me away even if it was executed well. And the fact that it isn't just makes the whole thing fall completely flat. I don't know what changed over at IGN. Maybe they got called out too many times for just giving really bad woke things a 7. But holy cow, boys and girls, they gave this one a 5. Everything from the formulaic story to the shallow and dull combat and stealth are well below the standards set by genre peers, and the consistently disheveled performance and bugs don't do Awakening any favors. There's at least some fun to be had in its interesting reality-bending powers, especially the mind-controlling abilities that let you briefly play as your foes and sabotage the enemy in clever ways. That does sound like fun, but these bright spots run their course quickly, leaving us with a wholly underwhelming adventure. Their rating, a 5. Mediocre. ladies and gentlemen. And this results in this right here. You launched a broken and buggy game where you uglified the main protagonist. And trust me, this is a good picture. What she actually looks like in game is completely different from what it looks like in the cutscenes. And guess what? The cutscenes are normally done by studios other than the people actually producing the game, which is why you will see when they uglify these characters in game, you will sometimes see it much more attractive versions in them in the cutscenes. It would not be the first time this has happened. So in late September, we predicted the Reflector Entertainment developed, Bandai Namco published, and Sweet Baby Inc. influenced Undying 9 Awakening would be a critical and commercial disaster. And it's one of those things, they're not rocket sciences, they're not geniuses. We know that everything Sweet Baby Inc. touches turns to dust. So this is just kind of par for the course of everything that we've seen that happen. And now that the game is live, not only has said prediction turned out to be 100% on point, but the results have proven even worse than expected. Per the Steam analytics outlet SteamDB, since its release on October 17th, the player count for the female-led game, which I don't have that a problem. I don't think that's the problem at all. I think the fact that they made her an ugly as sin female lead compared to the gorgeous actresses she is based on, I think that's my issue with it, has thus far peaked at just 285 concurrent players, which it achieved on the evening of its second day on the shelves. And trust me, boys and girls, the numbers don't get any better from there going forward. Those numbers also account for the fact that anyone who bought an AMD X8070 or an X8070E motherboard was given the game for free. And if you remember from our last video when we were going over this, there was literally one of the guys that said, I got this for free and still feel like I need a refund. It was that bad. Yeah, the fans hate this, boys and girls. For those unaware what Undying 9 Awakening is, per the game's description, we don't really care. This is one of the things where it gets interesting as well. But admittedly, the game has an interesting premise, features an extensive level of world building, yada yada yada. How these qualities aren't enough to save from feeling like a dated, uninspired adventure, as on the other hand, the game's combat is clunky, outdated, and repetitive. If the enemy AI is poorly designed and its graphics feels like more like their home on the PlayStation 3 than modern hardware. On the subjects of graphics, the appearance of game's protagonist was based on the Witcher star Anna Charletta, which will be on the thumbnail of this video. Herona herself looks like an androgynous and lacks the elegance of her real-life counterpart. Like I said, this will probably be the other face you see on the thumbnail out there. Combine all of this with numerous player reports of frequent frame rate dips and immersion-breaking bugs, and simply put, there just isn't enough good to outweigh the bad here. Yes, they concentrated on diversity, inclusion, and equity, just like every other Sweet Baby Inc. game out there, and what did they deliver? A broken and buggy mess. Color us shocked there. It's just like it happened with Star Wars Outlaws, just like it happened with the Saints Row reboot. It's almost like history doesn't just repeat itself, it also rhymes. Weird concept, I know. To add insult to injury, Bandai Namco slapped the game with a $50 price tag. $50 for this broken and bad-looking mess. In doing so, driving away a large swath of potential players who felt the price was, to say the least, unjustified. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's bad. It's buggy. We already talked about the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff in the past. We know that the COO, David Bedard, and Kim Bedard are both were listed in the credits for this game. And it's one of them situations where this is where literally, like I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where Bandai Namco bet the house on this. So they were initially buying all of this stuff. A trip down memory lane requires how in September 2020, Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe and Oceania made the decision to acquire the Canadian-based Reflector Entertainment explicitly with the supposed potential of a full-blown Unknown 9 universe. This would have included comic book series, a podcast, and even a novel trilogy whose first entry would be written by best-selling author Leighton Green, and more. Yeah. Needless to say, that is not going to happen. Bandai Namco bet the farm on this series. They thought this was going to be the next hot thing. They thought it was going to be everything. They thought it was going to be amazing. They thought they were going to be able to build an entire universe out of this. And now this game has absolutely blown up in their faces. And this is what you get. This is what you forget for believing the lie of the cult, Bandai Namco. This is what you get for buying off on the BS of diversity, inclusion, and equity. Oh, we're just going to bring in more customers. You're just going to bring in more things. It's going to be fabulous and wonderful. This is what you get for uglifying gorgeous women. This is what you get for giving us a broken and buggy game. This is what you get for hiring Sweet Baby Inc. as a consulting firm and anybody else out there that decides to concentrate on diversity, inclusion, and equity. You will go the exact same way that that acronym spells out. And guess what? Unknown 9 Awakening is the latest example of that. So good job, Bandai Namco. Good job, video game industry out there, because you have wasted hundreds of millions of dollars. Bandai Namco, you acquired an entire studio for this game, all to allow a bunch of woke, psychopathic, possessed by the spirit of the age nut jobs lie directly to your face and allow you to sacrifice hundreds of millions of dollars from your company on the altar to their cult. Well, guess what, Bandai Namco? You've got a decision to make. Is it Sparking Zero, the Dragon Ball, or is it Unknown 9 Awakening going forward? Would you like to go down the path of oblivion, or would you like to go down the path of success? I think it's pretty clear. And based on the sales and the video game numbers of this game out here right now, you will never have to see its like ever again. Bandai Namco has already tried to distance themselves from these types of people and from these types of groups in the past. They are being disavowed. And because even Bandai Namco knew this thing was going to be absolute hot garbage, and now we have the numbers to prove it. Unknown 9 Awakening, another Sweet Baby Inc. infected, disastrous dumpster fire. And after all, they did it to themselves, and they're getting exactly what they deserve.